All right, James. Guys, we are so excited to have James Thielen, the Lion, with us today with Megaloaf Sourdough.
Look at
And
he
look,
support me.
he brought me a free T-shirt. I was so excited. So let me ask you, what in sourdough makes it healthier than normal bread?
That's a great question. Well, sourdough bread is typically lower on the glycemic index. By the fermentation process, it breaks it down more to a micronutrition, so your body can absorb those nutritions. You can kind of get the micronutrition, and that causes a less dramatic spike than the normal white bread. So it doesn't spike on your insulin very bad.
So, and I hear this all the time. Is sourdough a prebiotic?
Yeah, so it's got a pre and a probiotic. So we actually have figured out kind of make it a prebiotic, which means that if you break the sourdough down, a regular sourdough, you can actually make a starter in just a couple of days from our thing. And I've had people try it and be like, oh, it works. I'm able to break that down. But yeah, it's got that probiotic, which kind of can get destroyed during baking. However, the byproducts of the bacteria are still in our gut, and so that gives it that lactic acid. It remains there, and it kind of contributes to the bread's characteristics and potential health benefits. So that lactic acid is an important process of sourdough.
Okay. Now, during that process, you told me off camera
Yeah.
that during that fermentation process, it actually breaks down those macronutrients into micronutrients.
Yes.
Right?
So the best way to describe that, I really think, is like composting. And that's kind of a funny joke, but you compost, break things down. I can get all those things that you normally compost: wood, chips, leaves,
both nitrogen and carbon, right?
All the different scenarios. And if you just let it sit there, it'll break it down over a long period of time. But if you fold it and you oxygenate it and you hydrate it, it actually can break it down a much quicker time. And so that's kind of been the fun process of how we've done our sourdough, because our sourdough is different than any other sourdough out there. Not maybe any sourdough out there, because everyone probably, but you can't find me a recipe in a book. All it is Himalayan salt, filtered water, and flour. That's all we've got. But the way we break down and compost it gives it that micronutrition.
Very interesting. So you're saying that you're a farmer. In a way, you're a farmer because you're actually farming the biology in the bread itself.
Yes.
You're nourishing it. You're adding to it. You're feeding it. It's kind of like a moody teenager, I'm sure. Right.
That is so true. And it's funny because sometimes when the barometric pressure is coming down, there's a storm coming in, our sourdough acts differently than if it's a dry, sunny day, differently than if there's a storm coming in, differently after the storm. All those are like a little different. So our sourdough is a teenager, and it does have all those different scenarios, but the fermentation process is the same. It's just how it ferments and almost like the attitude it's in. Have you ever been to the gym and just like worked out for like an hour and a half and felt great after, and then other days you're like, I don't even want to work out?
You almost need a recovery period.
Yeah, recovery period. Yeah, but we also have to keep feeding our sourdough and giving the filtered water, because we can't use tap water here locally or even anywhere. We encourage not tap water, just because the way they clean that bread breaks it down and makes it not healthy for the bread. So point of reference.
So what are they putting in our bread then?
So in our water, you mean?
Yeah, in our water.
In our water. So they have to chlorinate it and make sure there's no bacteria in it.
And there's fluoride and stuff like that.
All those things that break it down. So when we do it, we go
through.
Which
is crazy, guys, because fluoride is a heavy metal toxin, so it's actually an issue for your nervous system.
For sure, but it also helps your teeth. So that's why they throw it in there, right?
I guess that's true. Yeah.
That's the hard part about anything is when you go through science tries to prove something. So I can prove that sourdough is extremely healthy, but yet it's still a carb. So if you go eat one of our whole Megaloafs, that's still a lot of calories you're putting into your body that your body's going to try to preserve and keep healthy and store in fat. But if you eat it correctly, your body will have all the nutrition needs that it doesn't need to store that. So it's kind of a hard line of things that we do in life, is to make sure that we are being more consistent with our lives. We are putting good products into our body, broken down, more live organisms. So that's the thing about sourdough, is it's kind of like the fruit and vegetables of the grains, because it still's got live enzymes in it. It's because of the lactic acid, because of the glutinous and all this stuff, how it's been broken down to that more of a micro level. It has a more gut healthy, it has more live enzymes. So your gut loves it. There's these little volvies in your gut don't know if that's the right word, so someone's going to.
I believe it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of push your food through. The problem is they're getting clumped up, and so they're just letting it kind of slide through and not really flow through and grab the nutrition and break it down. And so we've all got inflammation in our gut. All of us do. Inflammation is always a part. But the problem is the more inflamed your gut is, the harder it has to work to just get the basic needs. And so by putting in pre and probiotics in your body, they are able to clear out your gut, which makes it so you have more gut healthy bacteria and your inflammation on your gut goes down.
Very interesting. So, as well as a lot of our viewers know, gut health is pretty important for you. One of the things with the gut inflammation that you're talking about, literally they refer to our gut as our second brain. So if your gut's not healthy, your brain's not going to be thinking right. Your body's not going to be functioning right.
So that's a great thing. I always tell people when I'm at the markets, your brain controls your emotions and your speech, but your gut controls your emotions. So have you ever noticed when you're feeling sick, you have more anxiety, or you have more panic attacks, or you feel more fatigued, or you feel less desire just to finish things? But when you're feeling healthy, you're like, okay, what can I do? Because your gut is healthy, and you don't have those panic attacks as much, and you're able to control them. I think that's a key component. If stressful comes in your life, like I'm opening up a restaurant, and that is stressful, right? Like I'm losing sleep every once in a while. I have to focus on myself and get to myself to sleep. But because I have gut health, I can focus through that easier. So it's not a cure. The word of the cure, we can't say anything can cure anything, but it helps us regulate a little bit better. It helps our gut regulate the emotions that we can feel and be able to have that control over them. Just like if I work out a lot and you don't work out at all, let's say, and we go and try to move something, it's going to be a lot harder for you to move that or to manipulate around that than me because my body is adapted to it. So that's why we got to keep putting healthy stuff into our body.
Absolutely. So the other thing is, we talked a little bit about previously.
Okay.
We talked about gluten intolerance.
Yes. So gluten intolerance is a weird thing because we all go like, oh, I don't want any gluten in my stuff because I feel sick after. It's like, actually, you're feeling sick because your inflammation of your gut and the lecithins in the gluten are affecting that and inflaming that. But if you can break down those and give yourself the pre and probiotic into it and make your gut healthy, they'll take the glutinous and they'll be able to break it down to more of a micro level, which makes it a gut healthy for you. But more importantly, it gives you the ability to be able to eat normal bread or normal flour or normal things because your body's built almost like a warriors. If you think of warriors or like military, if you train them right, they can do a lot of things. But if you just go and say, I'm sick, I feel bad, I'm not doing good, then they can't really do the things they're doing. So really a lot of gluten intolerance is lack of training for the gut. Is your gut so inflamed that you're not putting the correct things? So when you do put those in, they throw up alarms like, we're scared. But if you have the right gut enzymes, your body says, okay, this is a grain and this is life. This has been around for thousands of years.
Similar to like goat's milk. So it's an A2H protein chain, which is easier for us to digest because human milk is an A2A2 protein chain.
But if someone has never tried goat's milk and they tried it the first time, their gut's going to react in like a fight or flight. Now, once they realize, like, no, give us more of that. And the thing with our sourdough has been fun is people have tried it and kids are like, I don't know if I like it because it has a sweet tang to it. But then they start wanting it more because their body starts saying, I need that vitamin. I need that. So same with goat's milk. If the first few times it might be like, whoa, but then you start understanding what it's doing for your body starts saying, I want more of that. I want that to be a part of my life. So with sourdough, you want to eat it on a daily basis. You want to use it so your gut's getting the fluoride, the enzymes from it.
Yeah, the enzymes and the pre and probiotics.
Yeah.
Awesome. So another question that we have a lot of times is about glycemic index.
Yes.
And how it affects diabetes, specifically type 2.
Now that's a hard one because I have some people come to me and say, I've had diabetes, I've been eating your bread, and my diabetes is going away. And I'm like, cool. I can't say anything about that because we're not allowed to help anyone in this world unless the FDA says we can. But if your diabetes is because of gut health, then let's work on the cure. That's the hard part about like doctors, and I love doctors, and I think they have their place, and they do heal a lot of people. But a lot of times they're just focusing on, okay, you have a stomach ache, let's give you this to fix your stomach ache. Now doctors now have really been changing dramatically in the last few years of focusing on, well, what's causing that issue, right? If you're having diabetes, what's causing the diabetes?
So usually with type 2 diabetes, and I'm no doctor, so obviously go to
throw your tie back.
Go to the
professionals,
of course, with this. But what leads to type 2 diabetes is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which ironically is caused by overdose of carbohydrates. So that's kind of interesting because you're promoting a bread for, you know, people with diabetes, and you're saying that it's helping them. But it's probably better than the bread that we're eating, obviously.
But here's the thing, though, is if you can control that fatty liver disease and get that under control, it can get under all the rest of the things for. So if you have diabetes, please don't, sorry about that. If you have diabetes, please don't eat lots and lots of bread, but please have a sliver. And if you have those cool monitors, watch it as it goes up. And this guy that came to me was really cool because he's like, when I eat it with other things, it doesn't spike. Like when I eat it with white bread, I spike. Because all the different chemicals, I don't know necessarily not chemicals, all the different bacteria.
In the composition, I would say.
There we go. All the different compositions of the food are so important, so it won't spike your insulin like normal white bread. And if you eat it on a regular basis, not overeat it, but eat it on your regular basis, it's going to help give your gut the enzymes it needs and the bacteria, the healthy probiotics and prebiotics, to be able to break those down in a quicker thing, which can, so now we're going down the rabbit hole, which can help with moderation. So for me, I have multiple sclerosis, and that's kind of why I went down the rabbit hole of gut health. And it's helped me with my multiple sclerosis. So when I do get stressed, because right now I'm really stressed, right, because I'm opening a restaurant and doing all these things, but I'm able to regulate that and come down where I used to in the past. It would just overwhelm me, and I basically felt like I was getting hit by it. The dam was broken, and I was getting hit by water. But now it's like, okay, there's lots of things coming at me, and I've got a lot of responsibilities, but I'm able to go to sleep at night. I'm able to get the rest I need because my gut flora is healthier than it used to be. And so with insulin resistance, I always tell people, go slow. Or even people that have gluten intolerance, like, I can't eat gluten. It's like, go slow, try your bread at a slow thing. Don't go home and eat the whole loaf, because your gut's going to go in red flags and say, hey, this might be scary, and you'll feel kind of sick. Hopefully you don't have the secondary consequences of people with gluten intolerance, but go slow and actually start to help give your gut the ability to heal itself, because our bodies have the ability to heal itself. We replace our organs every month or every couple months or every year. All of our organs, our whole body is replaced. So if we start putting the healthy stuff in it, like sourdough, because that's the grain we need that sustains life, but it's broken down to a micro level, so it's eating the micronutrients you're able to get out of the grain.
Absolutely. Now, what about weight loss? Is there any benefits from weight loss?
Now that's
like I got a couple extra pounds I could lose.
That's a hard one.
So if I'm eating your bread exclusively, will I be losing weight?
So if you're eating only my bread, no. Because that's a lot of bread. But if you're eating my bread with the healthy compilation, the pre and probiotic will help break it down so your body cannot have those neurons, those sugar neurons that go to your brain that fire those fight or flight. I need more food. Have you ever noticed that, like, when you eat sugar, you like get an adrenaline rush of needing to eat more sugar? And that's really frustrating. So yes, it can help with weight loss. I've lost some weight eating this, but it's not a crash diet. It's, can I put that into my body and help with breaking that weight down and help kind of get into safe levels to benefit my weight management? That's, I think, the key component. We'll just use science on that.
For sure. Now, you talked a little bit about the nutrition. Is there any more that you can tell us about that?
Well, so the nutrition profiles of sourdough, it breaks it down to that micro level, so you're able to get micronutrients. And I think that's the key component, is those micronutrients. And it breaks those down so you can get the minerals like magnesium and potassium, but you're not taking the pill that's just magnesium and potassium. It's actually broken down, so you're actually able to absorb it in a better level, because the little tentacles or vulvae in your gut are able to break those down and use them and absorb them and then get rid of the rest of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like vitamin C is a perfect example of this, right? Because they only have citric acid, which is only one part of vitamin C. right? And so that's what we're buying in the store. And instead, they should be taking and freeze drying a whole lemon, seeds and all, and grinding it up and putting it in a capsule. And that would be a way better source.
Yes, because sourdough has folate and it has antioxidants, which is really important for our gut, for our body. Yeah.
Antioxidants, as everybody knows, reduces that inflammation and does help us.
Yeah, then it's done with the fermentation process.
And that is the human condition. That's literally what we're fighting is inflammation. That's what
100%. Yeah, I like that.
Well, James, I appreciate you coming to Shop Local Southern Utah.
Thank you. Yeah,
and the Local Insider. So, guys, tune in, and we'll have some awesome more guests here. Get a bunch of likes on this video, and I will buy him some sourdough.
Woo! I like that. Hey, good to see you.